Hi, my name is Jessica, and today I'm reviewing two games, the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel game and the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel Card game. Let's start with the original. This is a game that I purchased off the shelf in Target when my now 16-year-old was just little, probably around 3 or 4, I can't remember. And I was just really taken with the artwork. I thought, oh, this is cute. It's kind of a little retro looking. It looks so pretty. I got to see what this is. And have not regretted it. It's a classic. I mean, many of you probably already know what this game is. I think it's a modern classic. I think this is going to stay with us, and this is going to be in the category with Candyland and Chutes and Ladders, and Sneaky Snacky Squirrel Game is going to be around for a while is what I would predict, because I think it's still on the shelves now, 16 years later. And it might have been out longer than that, but I just didn't have any kids and wasn't paying any attention before that. Okay, so in this game, you're going to be using a spinner to collect different colored acorns, and they have kind of a little rubbery feel to them, so they're pretty easy to pick up and hold, actually. And they have little stems on them. There's 4 different colors, and then you can go up to 4 players. Each person has a stump, and you're going to try to spin to get the acorn to fill your stump, and the first person who fills their stump first wins. It comes with this really cute little squirrel who can pick up the acorns in his paws, and we don't always use it. Sometimes it's easier just to grab the acorns with their fingers, but he's available if you want to use him on your turn to pick up your acorns. It's all really adorable, really cute. So here are my thoughts on it as a Christian, and also, is it fun? First of all, as a parent, when you're playing games with your kids, it can be difficult to find games that are fun for you as an adult to play. These games are designed for small children, which means that there can be very few, if any, meaningful decisions. And for me, what I find to make a game fun is to have a little strategy, some meaningful decisions, rolling the dice and using a spinner. Yeah, there's a little fun and excitement in that, but I like it usually when it's paired with meaningful decisions. This game, let's see here. The age on this game is 3+, and it's 2 to 4 players. It's made by Educational Insights. This game does not have any meaningful decisions at all. That's why I say it's kind of like Candyland. But similarly to Candyland, Candyland is not pure torture for me to play. It's kind of close, but it's not totally awful because it is interesting to look at. You do kind of get sucked into the world of Candyland, and it does something with your imagination to see all those pictures, and it's easy to sort of role play with that. This one is kind of the same, I guess, for me. It's quick moving, and it's exciting to see what you're going to roll and what's going to happen. And so even though there is 0 strategy involved in this game, I have always enjoyed playing it. I have never been bored, and the kids just love it. So it's delightful to engage in. It's one of those games where I could tolerate it, where it wasn't like, oh, I can't wait until we outgrow this. I mean, I've played it now with all 3 of my kids and friends, neighbor kids that come over, and it's always been a fun time. So from a Christian perspective, there are a couple of things that I would address. One is that this here is Sneaky Squirrel. Sneaky Squirrel steals acorns from other players, so you can pick one on your turn from somebody else. The kids always struggle with having things taken from them and stolen from them. It's not a good feeling. We've had a lot of frustration in those moments, even after playing this game repeatedly. Also, I am not for games that promote stealing or lying or bluffing. I just think that that goes against the 10 Commandments. Like, I'm reading my children character building stories and teaching them not to steal, and then I give them the game that says, here, and when you land on this guy, you steal. I just think that that doesn't really make a lot of sense. From a Christian perspective, if I was going to rate this game from 1 to 5, I think though I would give it a 4. I'm going to take off a note for that, a point for that, but you can kind of get around it. This is how I did it anyway, is that this game is about squirrels, and in real life, squirrels do actually steal acorns from each other. So I explained to the kids how the squirrels will dig holes and they'll hide their acorns, and sometimes other squirrels come along and dig them up and take them. And you can even go as far as to say, why do squirrels do this? Why would squirrels steal? Well, this entered into the world with sin. God didn't make them to have to do that. They would normally always have enough to eat, and they wouldn't even have to hide their acorns for the winter because it, wasn't winter cold in the Garden of Eden. The next thing I'd like to just point out is there is a squirrel on here with a face that looks kind of sad or sleepy. I actually lost the directions, so I can't tell you if he's sad squirrel or sleepy squirrel. But what we did is we made him sleepy squirrel, and I'm going to credit my friend Leanne with that when she came over. Sleepy squirrel doesn't get any acorns because he's taking a nap and he's not hungry right now. Sad squirrel makes me think of someone who's depressed and can't get up and feed themselves. So he's sleepy squirrel. He's just not hungry right now. He's taking a nap. That's why he doesn't get an acorn. And then the wind, of course, blows all the acorns back. Gameplay of this can be short. It can be a little bit longer. It's short enough, though, that the kids will usually want to play it 2 or 3 times in a row. It is a competitive game. There's going to be one winner. Everybody else is a loser. That does cause some hurt feelings sometimes, but then there is that opportunity to replay and have another chance for winning. What I do like about it is anybody has an equal chance at winning. That's one thing about a game that's chance, that isn't really skill-based, is that nobody can be like superior to or inferior to somebody else because it really is just a game of chance. Moving on, the next game I'm going to talk about is the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel game. I purchased this game more recently, sometime within the last 2 years, and the ages on this one are escaping me. Sorry about that. They must be on here somewhere, and I'm sorry I wasn't prepared with that information. My boys, though, now are 6 and 8 years old, and I did buy this within the last 2 years, so I was thinking this game would have been appropriate for children that are age 4, 5, 6, 7, in that range. So it's called a speed slapping color matching game, and it uses the same adorable artwork as the regular squirrel game, but I don't like it nearly as well. I wouldn't probably give this a recommendation. In fact, I'm choosing this one because now that I review it, I probably will donate it or something. So the deal with this game is that you have cards like this, and they're in 4 different colors, and you stack them all up, each to their color, face up. It's a slap and take kind of a game. And then there's not a spinner, but what there is one player is the designated person who flips cards. And so there's this little box with these cards in it, and the cards are filled with Sneaky Squirrel and then the different colors. So the person holds the box and needs to remove a card secretly and like slap it down, and then as soon as you see it, you need to react on it. So in this game, Sneaky Squirrel actually doesn't do anything. So stealing is not promoted in this game at all, but he's in here like half the time. I mean, they could have maybe used a different character, because it almost kind of is weird that there is a Sneaky Squirrel with the bandit face on, the bandit mask, and he doesn't do any stealing. Kind of doesn't make sense, but yet I'm glad that there isn't stealing. But anyway, so he's like, oh, that's like a false start, you don't do anything. Any of these other colors means that the first person to slap their hand on that card and take it, gets it, and then you count up the cards at the end of the game. Whoever has the most cards wins the game. Why I don't like this game is that whoever is the fastest is always going to win. It's just really that simple. It is a game of skill. There may be some value to that, you know, that hand-eye coordination, you see the card and you're the first to slap it and then you take it. But with having these 2 brothers, even if they were, say they were twins and they were the same age, there's a chance that one is just going to be better than the other, and that one person is always going to dominate the game, and then the other person is always going to be frustrated. And I noticed this immediately when we played. Now, do they like it? Yeah, they kind of do. They have asked to replay it. It's not been the #1 game in our home by any stretch of the imagination, but it does get pulled off the shelf from time to time. Even though they get frustrated with it, I guess they forget and they want to try to play it anyway. The younger one gets frustrated. The older one does great because he wins. He beats me. He does fine. The one other thing, though, that I don't like about this game a whole lot is it's a little bit tricky for that one person to pull out this card in a way where it's not tipped one way or the other, and so that one person sitting in the circle doesn't get the advantage of seeing it before everybody else does, because it needs to be flipped in a way where we all see it at the same time. And kids, if they're the ones doing this, tend to not be real coordinated to be aware of that, to pull it out fast enough and at the right angle so that it's coming out fair. So when I did it, it was usually fine, but then we want to take turns who is the person flipping the card. I just will say I just was not impressed with this game. I didn't personally enjoy playing it as an adult, and I think the kids could have lived without it. Had they never owned this game, they wouldn't have really missed anything. So from a Christian standpoint, I don't know. I'd give it a 4.5, and I don't even know how I would justify that. For fun, replayability, is it a good game, enjoyable, all that? I don't know. I'll give it maybe a 2. I mean, from my perspective, it's like a 1. From their perspective, maybe it's a 2.5 or a 3. And then the original Sneaky Snacky Squirrel game, it's pretty adorable. You got to think about that theft, the stealing squirrel thing. That's about it. It's pretty adorable. I'd have to recommend this game. I think if you've got small kids and you like games, you have to have the Sneaky Snacky Squirrel game. It's just fun to say the name. God bless. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.